Hey y'all, little old Black Eagle here. And I came across something tonight. I was going through old photos and journals and yada yada. And I came across this piece of paper that I had written years and years and years ago. And it was the name of the guy that actually gave me my Cherokee name, Black Eagle. And so it just sort of got me to go back in my memory, and I thought, fuck it, I thought I'd share the story, and for whoever may see it. I know not too many people come by, but for the person that's supposed to hear this story, for whatever reason, I figured I would share it. So I'm trying to think. It doesn't even really matter how old I was, but I'm thinking I was probably in my late 20s, something like that. And I had been in recovery in Alcoholics Anonymous, and a couple friends of mine, they said, hey, there's a retreat, like this spiritual retreat, and it's a weekend thing. And I mean, they didn't really know what it was all about, and I thought, fuck it, I'll go. And so we went, and it was really cool, actually. And it was in the winter time to start with, and I'm guessing there were probably maybe like 20, 30 people there. And the way that it was set up was that it was in this big lodge, sort of like the main lodge. And then you could bring a tent, you could sleep in the lodge. And the guy that was sort of running the ceremony, so to speak, he was like the guy. His name was actually Guy. And so, I mean, I was like, fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. And we get there, and they have, like, I had never done anything like this before. And so, it was kind of cool. It was exciting, and I'm sober, and fuck it. So we get there, and it's a weekend deal, and it's in the wintertime. And so it starts out in this lodge, and it starts out with like this opening ceremony thing, and they had a drum, and people were drumming, and you could join in, and it was sort of like the opening ceremony type thing. And from there, and well, the other thing too is that you fast through the whole thing, and at the end you have like this big meal. And so that was interesting. I had never done anything like that before. And they had a sweat lodge, and part of it was that there were people there, and they have this big pit of rocks that they heat up, and you go into sort of like this shit, I can't believe the name is escaping me. I'm so stupid. Damn. Anyway, it'll probably come to me later, but it's like this, it's not a teepee. It's kind of like this rounded thing, and you go inside and you sit around this pit, and somebody brings in rocks that are heated, they're heated, they heat them up in this pit, and the guy is in there, and he's doing ceremonial chants, and they bring in and they put water over these rocks, and these rocks have sage on them. And it was flippin' hot. Like, I wasn't expecting that either. That's the other aspect of it. It's like an outside sauna type thing. It's thank you, sweat lodge. Jesus. Can't believe I couldn't remember that. But anyway, so yeah, so it was pretty wild. And one of the things that came up, I was talking with this guy, and you know, people have spirit names, and I told him that, you know, that my great grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indian, and he was part Cherokee, part, I don't know, Blackfoot or something like that. In Oklahoma is where he originated from, which is ironically where my family, my birth family, originated from, right at the end of the Trail of Tears, right in Fort Scott, Kansas. So anyway, so they're like, yeah, so this guy, you know, he does this sweat lodge, and, you know, he'll give you a spirit name. And I was like, well, I want a spirit name. Like, I want one of those. And so you have to, when you're in there, part of the whole seance process is putting up to the universe what you'd like back. And I was like, yeah, you know, me being me, I'm like, yeah, I'd really like a spirit name. And he said, oh, well, you know, if one comes to me, I'll let you know. And I said, all right, fair enough. So I did this sweat lodge, and it just blew my mind. It was nothing I had ever experienced before. It was unbelievably, I don't even know how to say it. I mean, I was dying, but it felt just cleansing, I guess is the best way to put it. And when it was over, I mean, it was in the wintertime, so just getting out of that thing was like, oh my God, thank you very much. And I went and laid in the snow. So anyway, it was a pretty incredible weekend, and people sat around a fire, and, you know, it was all very spiritual, yada, yada, a lot of drumming. But I had never fasted before. So that was the other thing. And I kept sneaking drinks of water because I was like, I can't do this. So anyway, at the end of the whole thing, I kept wanting to go up and ask this guy what my spirit name was. But I didn't, because he said he would let me know. And at the end of the retreat, so to speak, everybody's, you know, breaking down their tents and getting ready to go to their vehicles, and, you know, and I'm like, shit, like, I don't know my spirit name. I want to know my spirit name. And all of a sudden, right, everybody is running out to this field, and Guy was out there. And so I was like, all right, well, what's going on here? So we go out to the thing, and he points up to the sky, and he says, Black Eagle. And I was like, I didn't even know eagles were black. I'm like, that's a black eagle? There was 2 eagles, so, you know, in the sky. And I was like, oh, I've never seen an eagle before. And he just looked at me. He said, no, your spirit name is Black Eagle. And I was like, oh. And he said, now, what I want to tell you is this. You cannot tell anybody that your spirit name is Black Eagle for 8 years. I was like, you mean like 8 years? Like years as in 365 times 8? He said, yeah, 365 times 8. I was like, really? He was like, really? He said, but I want you to think about your name, and I want you to pray about your name, and I want you to start thinking of yourself as Black Eagle. But you cannot tell anybody that that is your spirit name for 8 years. I was like, all right. He said, nobody. I said, all right, nobody. I won't tell anybody. My lips are sealed. And I didn't. And I didn't even realize that 8 years had passed before I actually told somebody that my name was Black Eagle. My spirit name was Black Eagle. And I have to tell you, had I not waited 8 years and I'd have told somebody about it, that my name was Black Eagle, I don't think I wouldn't have been introducing myself, to be honest with you. I would have just been saying, oh, hey, well, I'm so-and-so, and this is my spirit name, Black Eagle. But I think it was like almost 9+ years. And the first time that it came up, I introduced myself as Black Eagle, and it just felt natural. And it's always felt natural. It's felt natural even when people are like, oh, your name is Black Eagle? What's Black Eagle mean? Like, oh, did you make that up? And not only does it feel natural, number one, it's not something I tell a lot of people. And, the people in my life that I'll say, well, occasionally it'll come up and I'll be like, well, my name's my spirit name's Black Eagle. And they're like, yeah, we know. Like, it's come out when it's supposed to come out. And I've just always felt very comfortable with that. And I've been very comfortable with the conversations that come up around my name. And, yeah. So part of the whole process of getting to know myself, and the lessons that I learned in that, initially it was like, I felt like I was being tested. It's like I was dangling my own carrot. I just wanted to tell people because I just thought it was so fucking cool to be able to say my name is Black Eagle. But I get it. I understood when I finally was able to do it, the lesson in what he was trying to teach me. And I'm grateful for it, and I've met people along the way, and people have different stories in regards to how they've come into their spirit name or whatever name, not necessarily a native affiliated name type thing, but the origins of their names. So yeah, that's the story of little old Black Eagle. And yeah, there you go.